Okay, let's unpack this. We're taking a deep dive into some uh, really ancient texts today. Imagine stepping back thousands of years. You're in a world where hymns, rituals, they weren't just customs. They were the connection, the
Yeah.
fabric linking people to these, well, powerful forces and beings.
Exactly. It's a world where the divine felt incredibly present, not distant. And these hymns, they aren't just stories about the gods, they're direct addresses, invitations, real interactions that shaped life, shaped how they saw the cosmos.
Absolutely. So our source stack for this deep dive, it's a selection of hymns from the Rig Veda, one of the oldest sacred texts we have. Really foundational stuff. Think of them like windows into that early cosmology.
Yeah, and they show us not just who the gods were thought to be, but how people connected with them. The rituals, what they asked for, the principles they believed governed, well, everything.
And our mission, really, for you is to navigate these specific excerpts. We want to pull out the key insights about the deities, the practices, get a real feel for the worldview inside them. Think of it as your shortcut to grasping a piece of this ancient foundation.
We'll be looking for the patterns, yeah. And the surprising bits, the details that maybe tell us something about what mattered to the people chanting these verses.
Exactly. We're going to explore some really vivid imagery brings these beliefs to life. So get ready for insights into gods of fire, these huge cosmic steps, divine helpers, even mythical craftsmen. Let's start right at the beginning, setting the scene for the main event, the ritual sacrifice.
Right. The first hymn we look at really sets up that ritual space very deliberately. It talks about making a home for Indra,
Mhm.
opening the doors divine, welcoming the gods in, and inviting figures like night and morning. They're called mothers of the sacrifice, asked to sit on the sacred grass.
It feels very active, doesn't it? Like preparing your home for really important guests. And we see specific roles invoked, too. The priest's divine, the hodri.
Mm.
That's a key type of priest, right? The reciter?
Mm-hmm.
They're called on to help, to complete the rite.
Yes, there's this sense of defined roles. For humans and for the gods involved, the hymn lists a whole assembly they're calling. Indra, night and morning, the priest, the Hotri, Virati, Ila, Sarasvati, Mahi, Twastar, Vanaspati, Vayu, Pusan, the Maruts.
Wow, that's quite the guest list.
Huh.
A divine assembly. And what they're asked to do is very specific to the ritual, isn't it? Receiving gods, assisting rites, sitting down, accepting gifts, hearing the calls. It feels highly structured.
It really does. What's striking is the clear expectation that the gods will actually participate. The ritual isn't just humans performing for the gods, it's an event where they're meant to interact directly.
Exactly. Something that caught my eye
Yeah.
on that detail about Twastar. He's called a kinsman and friend,
Yeah.
and he sends genial dew for increase, for wealth.
Hmm.
That feels, well, much more personal.
It does, yeah. It shows that even within this big pantheon, some relationships are framed like kinship,
Friendship.
directly linking a god to practical things like, good harvests and prosperity. This
Right.
whole structured invitation, seeking cosmic order, but also personal blessings, it really sets the stage.
Okay, so from that broad assembly, let's zoom in. Let's focus on a figure who is just absolutely central to this whole ritual world, appears again and again, Agni.
Ah, Agni, the god of fire. He's pivotal, absolutely. Across these hymns, he gets so many titles. They speak to his diverse nature. He's the son of strength, offspring of the waters, and crucially, the invoking priest himself. He is the sacrificial fire, sure, but he's so much more than just that.
His power, his appearance, it's described so vividly, makes heavens and earth shine. Ageless flames, radiant colors, beautiful sheen. His very force is light, shines sleeplessly. But then he's also kind of warrior-like, chewing up and eating trees like a conqueror,
Yeah.
a wild thing of the flood and forest, and that amazing line, the gray one was born young.
It's fascinating, isn't it? How he embodies these contradictions. He's radiant light and destructive fire. He's ancient, gray, but always new, born young. It suggests he contains that whole cycle, creation and destruction that fire represents.
And he's the bridge in the sacrifice, the essential link. He takes the hymns, the gifts from humans, and then speeds those prayers on to the gods, gets them to their destination. The hymns even say he's animated by the 10 fingers, meaning the priest's touch, right?
Right.
Linking human action directly to his divine job.
Exactly. He's not just the physical flame, he's the conscious, active agent inside the fire, performing that vital communication act between the human world and the divine.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for me. Some surprising details about Agni. They pushed beyond him just doing, the fire. He was brought to Earth's central point by these figures called the Burgas.
Yeah.
He's described like a herdsman ruling heaven and earth, born of holy law, that cosmic order idea again.
The writer.
Full of wisdom, and he just grabs whatever he meets. He's even called seven-rayed, triple-headed, filling these luminous realms, growing like a great steer, the son of men, the herald of all the gods.
And those aren't just random descriptions, are they? Son of Men connects him to light, life like the actual sun. Herald of all the gods states that messenger role very clearly. The seven rays, the triple heads, probably represent different aspects of his power. Different forms, maybe? Perhaps linking earthly fire to lightning in the sky and the sun. Or different kinds of fire. It shows a really deep, symbolic way of understanding this element.
And the relationship with the worshippers seems quite clear, too. Agni's a friend, a promoter of the law, a joy giver. He protects from enemies, from double dealing. He approves the faithful, helps the Aryan man. But, and this is important, he doesn't help the lazy or the godless.
Right, that brings in a moral dimension. Proper conduct, real effort. Those are needed to get his help and protection.
His movement is dynamic, too. Speeding over land, driven by wind like an arrow, bright like the sun, a wise course.
He's a force in motion, moving between realms. It reinforces that role as messenger, connector.
And there's a very concrete promise tied to him. People who bring gifts get noble offspring, a clear link. Ritual action leads to a desired outcome, like continuing the family line. So Agni isn't just fire, he's this dynamic link between worlds. He embodies transformation, power, protection, the act of communication itself. His many descriptions just show how central, how multifaceted this god, this element really was.
He's kind of the engine, isn't he? Making that whole system of cosmic interaction work.
Okay, moving from that fiery heart of ritual, let's look at a divine pair. They seem to represent the underlying structure, the order of the cosmos, Mitra and Varuna.
Right. Him, CLI to CLA3 focus on them. This powerful duo, they're introduced as accordant, mighty, the righteous ones, and they proclaim the holy law, that same cosmic moral order, the Rita we saw with Agni. They are the main guardians of that universal structure.
Their power is described as fundamental, keeping creatures safe, conquering falsehood, cleaving to the law eternal, binding power to the work, like an ox to a pole, making sure things function right.
Yeah.
They send treasure down. They're masters of the singer's hymn.
They're really associated with truth, justice, stability, and the good things that come when that order is kept.
The imagery linked to them is pretty rich. Robes abound with fatness, suggesting abundance, uninterrupted counsels, unwavering authority, a fearful four-edged bolt that smites down so, punishment for breaking the rules, and pastoral images too, like kine unstained by dust crying to the sun.
These details paint a picture, don't they? Their domain covers both the stern side of cosmic law and the fruitful results it brings in the natural world.
Now, him, CLII, this introduces some really mysterious figures connected to them. There's the footless maid coming before footed creatures.
Yes, strange.
The babe unborn supporting the world's burden, overcoming falsehood. The darling of the maidens, often thought to be the sun. And the unbridled courser, maybe also the sun.
This is where the hymns can feel a bit like riddles, you know. These figures probably symbolize deep cosmic principles, things hard to grasp directly. The footless maid, maybe primordial matter, potential before form, the babe unborn, perhaps an eternal unchanging principle sustaining everything. Their link to Mitra and Varuna suggests that cosmic order involves these deep, maybe even paradoxical realities.
And the relationship with worshippers emphasizes reciprocity. People they love prosper. They wake understanding, come with a heart that fulfills longing, grant victory, grant reign.
So by aligning with their principles, truth, order, and through offerings, worshippers could gain practical blessings and deeper insight.
Hymn CL3 describes them being supported by priests, with oil, with hymns, praised with mighty power, moved by worshippers bringing gifts. They're actively invoked, engaged through ritual.
Yeah, this pair represents that essential framework, cosmic and moral law, and the blessings that come from being in line with it, while also hinting at these deeper symbolic layers of meaning.
Okay, from the maintainers of cosmic order, let's turn to a god often linked with them. One defined by immense scale, movement, Vishnu.
Vishnu, yeah.
Yeah.
Him CLAV to CLVI. He's instantly recognizable by his iconic action, measuring out the earthly regions, the common dwelling place of creatures. With his 3 wide extended paces, his 3 steppings forth.
That image is just incredibly powerful, isn't it? Literally defining the space of existence with his steps. He's called a wild beast, dread, prowling, mountain roaming. Suggests something ancient, powerful, untamed.
Hmm.
But also the bullfar striding, upholding the three realms, earth, heaven, creatures. And his three places filled with sweetness are described as imperishable realms of joy.
So his steps don't just measure, they establish, they sustain. And the places linked to his steps are sources of bliss, abundance. His presence brings good things to the cosmos he maps out.
He's also seen in partnership sometimes, with Indra in hymn CLV, praising their shared drink, turning away arrows. Vishnu came for fellowship to Indra, called godly to the godlier.
It shows even gods with these vast cosmic roles, they interact, cooperate within the pantheon.
His overall power, his role, it's mainly as preserver. Described as inoffensive, bounteous, benign. His strength grows with offerings.
Right.
Supreme power helps the Aryan man, gives worshippers a share of the holy law. With his friend, he unbars the stable of the kine, another link to practical prosperity. Cattle wealth.
He's a benevolent force, protective. His actions ensure the world he established with his steps thrives.
But here's where it gets really thought-provoking for me. That detail about his steps from hymn CLV is quite profound. A mortal is amazed at the first two steps, but cannot approach the third step, which is high in the light of heaven, inaccessible even to birds.
What does that tell us? It's not just about physical height, surely. That inaccessible third step, it suggests a dimension of reality, maybe, or divine potential. Something utterly beyond human perception, beyond even natural reach, like birds. It points to an ultimate transcendent aspect of existence, or divinity. Fundamental, but ultimately mysterious to us, even while we live in the space defined by his other steps.
Him CLVI adds to his stature. Far-shining, widely famed, ancient and last, ordaining with his spouse, associated with Varuna and the Asvins wait on his will.
He's portrayed as foundational, enduring. His actions establish and maintain the structure, the bounty of the universe.
So Vishnu's three steps, iconic. The act that creates the space of existence. But that idea that one step is beyond even the sight of birds, it really highlights this concept, doesn't it? A divine realm that's both intimately involved in our world and utterly transcendent, something we benefit from but can't fully grasp.
It's a powerful metaphor, yeah, for that simultaneous immanence and transcendence of the divine in this worldview.
Okay, shifting gears a bit now, let's look at a pair who seem very directly involved in day-to-day human life, acting as swift, helpful agents, the Asvins.
The Asvins, right. Him, CLZ, and CL8. Strongly linked to the dawn, arriving at first light, and they're renowned for their very mighty car.
Tell us about that chariot. It sounds like a vehicle of blessings itself. It's three-wheeled, laden with meath, that sweet drink, maybe symbolizing abundance.
Could be.
Drawn by fast horses, three-seated, opulent, bestows delight, and specifically brings weal, welfare, health, prosperity to cattle and men.
Yes, their chariot is a symbol of their swift arrival and the bounty they bring. It's a vehicle of salvation, prosperity.
And their actions are consistently benevolent, practical. They bedew power with honey and oil, like anointing with vitality, richness. Give victorious strength in war, help win riches, bring nourishment, prolong life, wipe out trespasses, destroy foes. They're called companions and friends.
They really are like the divine first responders, aren't they? Intervening directly to heal, protect, extend life, bring well-being, both material and spiritual.
They have some very specific, unique skills mentioned too. They store the germ of life in female creatures, in all living beings. Masters of procreation, vitality.
Amazing.
They sent forth fire, wood sovereigns, maybe trees, and waters. They're called leeches, with medicines to heal us, and skilled charioteers.
They embody divine power over life, healing, fundamental elements, practical skill, which makes them super relevant to the concerns of a human community.
The hymns even include little stories, anecdotes of their rescues, equipping their car sea crossing for Tugra's son, saving someone from the sea,
Right.
preserving Eucathia's offspring, saving from figures like the Dilsas, saving Tritana who wounded himself.
These brief narratives highlight their reputation as powerful saviors, responding to people in danger, demonstrating their immediate helpfulness.
And a figure named Durga Thomas, son of Mamadi, is linked with them, reaching long life, connected to waters, even called their charioteer.
That connection reinforces their association with long life, vital forces, maybe suggests a particular human devotee who is especially close to them. They also get powerful titles. Vases twain, Rudras, full of counsel, great helpers.
The Asvins just feel so directly involved in the day-to-day well-being of people. Healers, protectors, givers of vitality, prosperity, the practical, benevolent, accessible side of the divine.
They really embody that idea of divine aid arriving swiftly,
Yeah.
effectively, addressing immediate human needs.
Okay, so from fundamental cosmic forces and practical helpers, let's consider the ultimate foundational parents of existence, heaven and earth.
Hymns CLAX and CLX, yeah, praising this fundamental pair, described as mighty wise strengtheners of law, linking them back to that cosmic order, Arto, held by Mitra Varuna.
They're the essential container, aren't they? The hymns call them two bowls of noble kind, the widely capacious pair, the father and the mother, the two world halves, unwavering, keeping creatures safe, and beautiful because, interestingly, the father clothed them in good forms.
They are the vast, stable framework of the cosmos, the source and home of all life, encompassing everything.
Their cosmic role is generative, creating. They bring forth the best boons through wisdom, made the world of life, provided immortality for their brood, meaning all creatures. What's intriguing is their sons, the gods, are also said to have brought them forth.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And they guard the station of their son who knows no guile, clearly the son who travels between them every day.
It suggests a kind of layered cosmology. While heaven and earth are the ultimate parents of life, maybe primordially, the formed, active gods perhaps help establish them, gave them structure. And their role guarding the sun highlights how they maintain those cosmic cycles, essential for life.
Their wisdom, their skill is also central. The most skilled god, probably a creator figure like Visvakarma maybe, made them, married them out with great wisdom, established them with pillars. They're described as weaving a web in the sky and sea.
So they're not just passive phenomena. They're products of divine design, active participants, creating the fabric of reality. Right.
And the blessings sought from them are comprehensive. Everything. Prosperity for all, great glory, lordly power, strength, riches, wealth, treasure.
As the ultimate source of everything, yeah, they're invoked for total well-being, abundance.
The hymns also mention a priest who sanctifies the worlds and milked the party-colored cow and the prolific bull for bright milk.
That ritual image links the priest's actions directly to harnessing that fundamental fertility, the life-giving potential embodied by heaven and earth, the cow and bull being classic symbols of those forces.
These hymns honor the fundamental cosmic parents, sky and earth. Not passive, but active, wise participants in creation, providing abundance. It shows this deep reverence for the very groundwork of existence.
They're the stable foundation, yeah. Everything else is built on them, sustained by them.
Okay, finally, let's look at a set of figures who achieve divine status through a rather different path. Not birth, not inherent cosmic power. The Arbus.
Ah, the Arbus, hymn CLXI, it's more of a narrative account. Introduced as Sudhenvan's children.
They were given this specific task by the gods. Seemingly impossible. Take a single chalice, made by the divine craftsman Devostar, and make it into 4 identical ones.
Right.
And their reward, if they succeed, a place at the sacrifice, alongside the gods.
This hymn is really remarkable, isn't it? Because it presents divinity as something you can earn through exceptional skill, by meeting a divine challenge.
Their feats of craftsmanship mentioned are legendary. They don't just duplicate the cup. They make a courser a fast horse, fashion a chariot, create a cow, make an ancient pair young again, bring a cow from just a hide, form a horse from a horse.
These are acts of transformative creation, even rejuvenation, seemingly miraculous stuff. They show mastery over form, substance, maybe even life and time.
The outcome of the chalice task is dramatic, though. Stor, the original craftsman god. He saw the 4 perfect cups and was angry.
Yeah.
Hid among the consorts of the gods, wanted to slay the Arbus.
That introduces a potential tension, doesn't it, in the divine realm? Maybe between established divine artisans and these newcomers, or just a reluctance to share status.
But despite that opposition, the Arbus succeeded. They got their status. The hymn says they gave themselves new names, were welcomed by the maiden, went to the gods as Arbus, Vipfan, and Vajra, were skilled even in war, and obtain their rightful share in the sacrifice.
They showed not just technical skill, but determination, maybe strategic ability, enough to overcome divine jealousy and secure their place.
The hymn includes details about how they worked, their deliberations, mentioning dialogue about water, Agni the lightning cloud, their process of shaping the cups.
It shows them as intelligent beings, deliberative, understanding the elemental forces, the processes involved in their craft.
This story is just incredibly significant, I think. Unlike most of the deities we've talked about, the Arbus gained their divine status through skill, craftsmanship, fulfilling a command. They earn their place, essentially. It highlights a different path to the divine realm, valuing ingenuity, hard work, transformation, alongside inherent power or cosmic roles.
It suggests that human-like qualities, skill, dedication could, in exceptional cases, lead to becoming divine, apotheosis, offering a different model of interaction, of potential between humans and the divine.
So what does this complex tapestry of deities' interactions, what does it all tell us? These excerpts show a rich, multifaceted relationship between humans and the divine, focused on maintaining cosmic order, sure, but also seeking blessings, well-being, through structured ritual praise offerings.
And we see this diverse pantheon, vast cosmic forces like Vishnu, fundamental parents like heaven and earth, maintainers of law like Mitra Varuna, elemental mediators like Agni, practical helpers like the Asavins, and even those who achieve divinity through skill like the Arbuhus. Each brings a unique set of powers, responsibilities to this ancient world.
We've journeyed through this selection from the Rig Veda, uncovered these vibrant roles, seen how these ancient hymns painted a picture of divine powers deeply connected to human life, ritual, the natural world, all while hinting at deeper, maybe mysterious cosmic truths.
And hopefully you now have a clearer sense of the key figures, their main roles, the core concepts in these specific passages, pulled right from the sources, without you needing to wade through the original text's density. It's a swift way to get a foundational understanding.
And this brings up an important question, maybe for you to think about. Given this diverse range of deities we've seen,
Yeah.
from Vishnu's cosmic measuring and transcendence, to the Asvin's practical healing, heaven and earth's foundational role, Agni's mediation, Mitra Varuna's order, and the Arbis achieving divinity through skill. What does the structure of this pantheon and the different ways one interacts with or even becomes divine within it, what does that suggest about the values, the concerns of the people who created these hymns? What does it tell us that ingenuity, dedicated work, like with the Arbis, could be a path to the divine, alongside inherent cosmic power or elemental force? Just something to mull over, perhaps, as you reflect on how different cultures have imagined that relationship between humanity and the divine.